Before I continue my World Cup flashback series, I need to stop at one of the most emotional chapters in Australian football history. After looking back at Australia's first World Cup appearance in 1974, we now move forward 32 years. 32 years of waiting, 32 years of heartbreak, 32 years of almost getting there. And then came one night in Sydney, one penalty, one shirtless celebration, one moment that changed Australian football forever. This is the story of Australia at the 2006 FIFA World Cup. Australia's road to Germany 2006 came down to a playoff against Uruguay. The first leg was played in Montevideo and Uruguay won 1-0. That meant Australia returned to Sydney, needing to win the second leg just to stay alive. At Stadium Australia, Mark Bresciano scored to make it 1-0 on the night and 1-1 on aggregate. After extra time it went to penalties. And this is where legends are made. Mark Schweitzer became the hero first, saving 2 Uruguayan penalties. Then John Aloisi walked forward to the World Cup for the first time since 1974. He scored. The stadium exploded. Aloisi ripped off his shirt and sprinted away in one of the most iconic celebrations in Australian sporting history. This was not just qualification. This was a national release of emotion. Australia's first match in Germany was against Japan. For most of the match, it looked like the Socceroos were heading for disappointment. Japan went ahead through Shunsuke Nakamura, and Australia was running out of time. Then Gus Hiddink made changes. Tim Cahill came on, and everything changed. In the 84th minute, Kewell scored Australia's first ever World Cup goal. Think about that for a second. Australia had played at the World Cup in 1974 and did not score. We waited until 2006 and finally, Tim Cahill put Australia on the World Cup scoreboard. Then only minutes later, Kewell scored again. From 1-0 down, Australia went suddenly 2-1 up. And in stoppage time, John Aloisi, the same man who sent Australia to the World Cup, scored the third. Australia's 3, Japan 1. This was not just a win. This was Australia announcing to the football world, we are not here just to participate. Next came Brazil. Not just any Brazil, the defending world champions. Brazil had names like Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Kaká, Adriano and Roberto Carlos. For Australia, this was a huge test. Brazil won 2-0, but the important thing is this. Australia was not embarrassed. The Socceroos competed. They worked, they defended, they showed that the Japan result was not a lucky moment. Yes, Brazil had the quality. Yes, Brazil won the match, but Australia walked away still alive in the tournament. And that meant everything would come down to the final group match against Croatia. Next came Croatia. That was the match that had everything. Goals, mistakes, pressure, controversy and chaos. Croatia scored early through Dario Surna. Australia was behind again. But Craig Morg equalised from the penalty spot. The goal was special because it was Australia's first ever first half goal at a World Cup. Then Croatia went ahead again through Niko Kovac. At that point, Australia's dream was in danger. But in the 79th minute, Kewell scored the goal that changed everything. Australia 2, Croatia 2. That result was enough to send Australia into the round of 16 for the first time in history. But this match is also remembered for one of the strangest refereeing moments in the World Cup history. Croatian defender Josef Smunic was shown 3 yellow cards before finally being sent off. Referee Graham Paul later became famous for that mistake, and this match is still remembered as one of the most chaotic games of the 2006 World Cup. Australia's reward for reaching the round of 16 was Italy. And not just any Italy, this was a team that would eventually win the 2006 World Cup. For Australian fans, this match still hurts. Australia was brave, Australia was organised, Australia had belief. Then in the second half, Italy went down to 10 men after Marco Materazzi was sent off. Suddenly, Australia had a chance, a real chance. The match looked like it was heading to extra time. Then came the moment that broke Australian hearts. Fabio Grosso went down in the box after a challenge from Lucas Neal. The referee awarded Italy a penalty. Francesco Totti stepped up and scored. Italy 1, Australia 0. Almost the last kick of the match, Australia was out. Italy went on to become world champions. For Australia, it was pain, but it was also proof. The Socceroos had stood toe-to-toe with one of the strongest football nations in the world. Australia's 2006 World Cup campaign was more than a football tournament. It was a campaign that changed the way Australia saw the Socceroos. Aloisi's penalty ended 32 years of pain. Cahill gave Australia its first World Cup goals. Kewell sent Australia into the knockout stage. And Italy ended the dream with one of the most painful penalties in our football history. But 2006 was not the end. It was the beginning of modern Australian World Cup belief. From 1974 to 2006, Australia waited. After 2006, Australia became a regular World Cup nation. And now, as we look towards World Cup 2026, the question is simple. Can the Socceroos create another unforgettable chapter?